We're going to talk about Dan Schneider. Mary, do you want to lead this one?
Sure. Jennette McCurdy is about to release a tell-all memoir titled "I'm Glad My Mom Died."
Which is, you just know they love that
It's the equivalent of clickbait, but for a book, basically.
That's very common for books to give them that type of title. Like,
yeah, it's reeling you in. But I don't think it actually has much to do with her mom, because people are anticipating an expose on Nickelodeon on Dan Schneider, who was the showrunner of iCarly and Sam and Cat, which she was on. And they're expecting her to reveal things about what you would call the seedy underbelly of the entertainment
Mary hates
business.
that term, seedy underbelly.
The undercarriage of Hollywood. So there are a lot of
Thank you.
worrying claims that she made in an excerpt from the book that was obtained by Entertainment Weekly, and comments that she's already made in interviews ahead of the release, which is on the 9th. She said that Nickelodeon offered her $300,000 in hush money to not talk about her experiences while working for the network.
Okay, I have one thing to say off the bat. Like, does that seem like a lowball offer? For
Totally.
Like
Totally.
holy lowball offer?
It shows that they actually aren't that afraid of the consequences of employing Schneider, who allegedly he had misconduct.
Yes.
Allegations
with feet, right?
With
stuff with feet.
Feet belonging to children.
So he's like the Nickelodeon
communicating with
Tarantino.
Children working for the network outside of work hours.
Which reminded me of what's her name in Drake.
Millie Bobby
Brown, and Drake was like, I text Drake all the time.
You're not friends with someone that much older than you. Sorry.
She was 14
not
and
normal.
Drake was like 30, and she's like, oh yeah, we're good friends. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah, we just chat all the time about boys and dating.
That's weird. It's a little weird. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then he exited Nickelodeon in March of 2018. They said it was just because they chose not to extend their contract with his company, Schneider's Bakery. But
that's the name of the company?
Yeah.
Schneider's Bakery?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Which I distinctly remember from like watching Nickelodeon so much as a kid, like that sound of the animated like oven dinging right before and after the shows. It was just, yeah, like very visceral. But he actually had allegations of being verbally abusive on set, aside from anything about like sexual misconduct or whatever rumors. And then also the communication with minor actors outside of work.
It feels like there should have been much stricter rules with that stuff, right? With the minors interacting.
But when
with
you
adults.
rely on Dan Schneider for all of your hits, which was, I mean, he was responsible for all that, for Amanda Bynes' Amanda Show, for Drake and Josh, for iCarly, for Sam and Cat, and that's not even all of it. He was Nickelodeon's moneymaker.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they've been the same since they lost him. He's good at what he does, for sure. But rumors have been around for a long time about... Thank you. Third Crisis Party?
Before we go on, I want to say, like, Stephen Harris just gave, like, 100, and I think it literally, like...
Oh.
It stopped this for, like, they didn't go off because it, like, reset. Thank you, Stephen.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, but rumors have been going around about Dan Schneider's behavior for a long time, even before he exited the network. So Jennette McCurdy, it can't obviously name him directly in her book.
For fear of getting sued.
Yes. But there's someone she calls the creator.
And then somebody posted a screenshot
memoir
of like an episode of the show and says created by Dan Schneider.
So it's not hard to guess who she means by that in the book.
Yes.
And it's not just the creator that she talks about, but also just interesting so-called like office politics in the network between her and her co-stars, where it seemed Ariana Grande definitely, she says Ariana was not barred from other projects, but she was. She only had the option to act on Sam and Cat.
And then there was like, she's like, I got to go to Tom Hanks's house and play
charades.
Play charades.
That's McCurdy said that was the moment that broke her when Ariana walked in bragging about how she played charades with Tom Hanks.
What if Ariana Grande came back and she's like, and he's got this cute son named Chet.
Oh
my God, he's so
I need
good.
The lore. I need the lore on this.
I'm literally picturing.
I hope
Ariana
that Chet
Grande
was living at home at that point.
I hope that was Ariana Grande, Tom Hanks, Chet Hanks, Colin Hanks, and then Rita Wilson.
That's her.
And they're all
Mama
playing.
Rita.
They're all playing charades.
There's like a love triangle with Ariana Grande and Colin and Chet.
Oh my God!
And that's Chet's villain
No way, because Chet. No girl's gonna pick Colin over Chet. Chet's such a bro. Like they're like.
I don't know. Maybe she likes them clean cut.
Oh my God! Like I pointed out, I said Chet. Like
there's just too many possibilities.
Colin Hanks looks like a dude who got shoved into lockers when he was in high school, and Chet Hanks looks like a dude who threw people into lockers. When he was in high school.
I wonder what their childhood was like.
Another thing she said was in her memoir regarding the creator and her time at Nickelodeon, she had to drink alcohol. She was like offered alcohol
by adults
while she was underage.
Very scummy.
Yeah. And also I think they had her wear a bikini at some point. Obviously, we don't have access to the full stories yet.
I remember when you came here, like I was like, I asked if you were old enough to drink alcohol.
Yeah, but like obviously in these circles, they don't think to ask because there are no consequences for misconduct.
Nope, they just get away with it.
And also, this is following a controversy about the iCarly reboot series that Miranda Cosgrove and her other former co-stars participated in, with the notable absence of Jennette McCurdy. And
because she went against wrote this book?
Yeah, I doubt that they even invited her back because they got an inkling that, it ended badly with her.
So I mentioned to you earlier, so does it seem weird that like Nickelodeon somehow like everyone knows Disney is evil, like with kids, like with the way that their child stars come out always messed
and they
up.
are a bigger machine than Nickelodeon,
way bigger.
So there's more places to hide, I think.
Yeah. So does it seem shocking to you that Nickelodeon would end up having just the same problems as a Disney does?
No, it wouldn't be. But I got mixed feelings. Like I look at Dan Schneider and I want to hate the guy. I want to be like, oh, he's evil. He's a child molester. Like I just think, oh, he's obese. Like
on
this
appearances
guy's
only, you would think.
Yeah, and
that.
he's sweating, and I see pictures of him hugging young girls.
There's a picture of one of the Zoe 101 actresses sitting on his lap when she was like 13.
But at the same time, we're in a culture of like, oh, he touched me on the shoulder, he's abusing me.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, it's just her word against his. But I mean, this industry is nasty sexualized.
And I told Mary before, I said that my biggest concern whenever I read these allegations is, are you selling me a tell-all book when you reveal your big story to me? Because it makes me automatically cynical. It does.
A big part of her book also is just autobiographical things about her childhood that didn't necessarily involve the creator or her time acting, but her time before acting, which I think could speak to a lot of different stories, because her mom was very adamant that she go into this career path, and she felt like she could make her mom happy by getting a role. So when she got this role in iCarly, that was her breakout role. She felt like thank you.
Thank you.
Fourth.
That's 4.
She felt like she could fix everything for her family, and we just read a similar story with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
And the cycle just continues generation to generation with these child actors.
Yep. They never seem to.
It doesn't seem like they're choosing that career path of their own accord.
Do you think these parents
And
don't
for
these
Miranda
parents know what's
Cosgrove,
going
actually,
on?
for Miranda Cosgrove, she seems to have turned out all right. She seems to actually have a favorable view of her experience at Nickelodeon.
Is she a musician?
She was, yeah. She did some music. They all did. And she did this reboot of iCarly probably because she has positive memories of that time.
Yeah.
Then why is it so drastically different for Jennette McCurdy? I think it's the parents, maybe?
Yeah. Because
like when I've read about Miranda Cosgrove and read some comments she's made about her time at Nickelodeon, it seemed like she was there to save up money for college, and her parents didn't care whether she stayed or went from that industry.
Cosgrove.
Yeah, Cosgrove.
So is this one of those things, like, do you think the producers are just predatory and they pay attention to either which ones have the parents that want it so bad for their kids that they know that they're going to look the other way, or the ones that just simply aren't paying enough attention?
Which ones have families that are in a situation of desperation?
Yeah, so they know
it's
that they'll
that
get away
calculated.
with it.
And McCurdy's book is called "I'm Glad My Mom Died," so I imagine she had some problems with her mom.
Definitely some resentment about it.
It's not just producers; it'll be like a friend of a showrunner that's at a party might abuse a kid one night, and then it's like this. And if Jennette was at the wrong party or in the wrong room at the wrong time and was like 14 and given something or enticed, and didn't have a strong family life, she might have bit.
And then, do you want to tell everybody?
To clarify, the bikini thing was she was photographed in a bikini at a wardrobe fitting and was encouraged to drink alcohol by the intimidating figure she calls the creator.
I watched, I started rewatching the show Castle the other night, and there's actually a really interesting change in the way they do Nathan Fillion's character. He's supposed to be like this bad boy author, but he's got like a teenage daughter. But it's a very interesting show because it's a very clear example of like a single dad who's very, very loves his daughter and is very protective of his daughter, but he's also like a bad boy author, has a lot of money, all this stuff. So there's this weird thing in the first episode where he encourages his daughter to drink like a glass of champagne while they're at like a book signing. And like it's done in a way that's supposed to be like, look, he understands that kids do stupid stuff and like he trusts his daughter, so he's like, you're an old soul. But then after that episode, it's almost like they had test audiences say, we don't like the idea of him encouraging his daughter to do that as a way of showing.
How old was she in that?
She was like 15. She's supposed to be 15 at the time. And then after that, he's overprotective of his daughter. And so
you can tell they took the feedback.
Yes. So it's like Hollywood, like they can take the feedback on the show. They just can't take the feedback in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, like, was there anybody looking out for her? And for a lot of these child stars, I feel like they look for the ones that are the most isolated.
That seems to be.
And then they're forced into a position where they become independent and adult-like too early in life. And then later on, as we can see, they start processing everything, and it looks calculated. Like, the release of this information looks to be, an opportune timing for making money off of this book, but it could very well be an organic development and, like, her ability to reflect on her past.
And then what was the Britney Spears stuff? Or the Jamie Lynn Spears stuff?
There were rumors going around for a long time that the end of Zoe 101 at Nickelodeon was prompted by Jamie Lynn Spears' pregnancy in her teens. She was either 14 or 15 years old. She herself claims the end of that show had nothing to do with her pregnancy, and that it was after the show ended that she ever found out that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And she said that they didn't want to extend the contract to continue the show because she just wanted to go back and have a normal high school experience in Louisiana and all that. But there were rumors for a long time, and continue to be, that Dan Schneider was the father of this baby. And they say that the purported father of this baby, Casey Aldrich, came out and like surfaced as the real father suspiciously late in the story.
Yeah.
When she was, quote, nice and pregnant.
Yes.
So they think it was some kind of cover up. Oh. And then what followed that was Britney Spears' meltdown and shaving her head and all that. So they think it's some kind of PR maneuver to distract from the scandal. Like they literally think they asked Britney to do this just because. Obviously, I'm not sure I would take it that far, but I'm sure maybe if she were privy to some suspicions that was the case, it wouldn't help. It might drive someone to insanity to feel they can't speak out. I talk a lot about how I think that Kim Kardashian is an evil PR genius, that she can manipulate the media to whatever direction she wants. Because, a story about me is bad. I better make this public announcement. Like, there was a thing where she got this bad press for saying girls should just work harder.
That's what she said. She said, girls should just work harder. And everyone's like dragging her for saying it. And then right as that happens, she's like, oh, I'm going to announce that I'm in a relationship with Pete Davidson. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about that because she knows how to push the media into whatever direction they want. And somebody who's a producer is going to be an expert at that as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think overall it's a fortunate thing that she's putting out this memoir and telling her side of things, at least, because there have been so many speculations about it, especially after the iCarly reboot. I think she deserves a chance to be heard out, and she's gotten a lot of interviews with the press about it and following up on the excerpt from it.
Just proves to you that the industry is scummy all around.
They're interested in making money on the what you called the back end of the pain they inflicted on the people working in the industry.
That's the scariest part.
They make money off of them when they're young, and then they make money off of them when they're older, and they start going public with the information about what really happened.
These books get written, and then the same people who abuse them make money right off the books that are being written about the stories of the things they did to them. So,
how do they make the money?
Well, the publication companies and the press that they get before and after, the clicks that they get.
Hollywood takes its cut.
She's been interviewed
stage.
by the New York Times, by the Washington Post, by Vanity Fair, all ahead of this book.
Yep.
It's a big deal for them, and not because they care.
No, they do not.
True, I didn't know Dan Schneider was until today. Yep. I mean, I think I've seen him around.
I knew who he was because the shows that he wrote were a really big deal to my generation.
We're a little bit past that generation.
Yeah.
I was into You Can't Do That on Television. You ever watch that? Where they get slimed if they said, I don't know.
Is that on Nickelodeon?
Yeah. It was one of the first, like 84, 85, 86.
Just a few years before Mary was born.
Just a few.
Dude, that was the best. Nothing like it.
There was kind of a golden age for kids entertainment.
Golden age.
Pinwheel, where all those weirdos lived in the house.
The world as a whole was certainly not in a golden age.
How you perceive it could be perceived as a golden age.
It was cool because cable was new, so it was a big deal if you had cable television. You could watch Nickelodeon.
I never had cable.
We didn't have it. My grandma had it.
I had to go to my grandparents to watch cable. I'm with you. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.